96 hours, 4 days. That's how early this video found you. Not by accident, not by random algorithm, by design, by timing, by the simple fact that you needed to hear this exactly 4 days before the moment when you will understand why. There's a pattern to how information reaches you. You might think it's random, scrolling, clicking, landing on videos based on whim or curiosity. But look closer. The things that actually matter, the content that changes something in you, it always arrives early. Days before you consciously recognize you need it. Before the situation that will make it relevant appears in your life. Before the moment when it clicks into place. This isn't mystical. This is how reality organizes itself. Information moves toward readiness. Content finds the people who are about to be ready for it. Not the people who are already ready, they don't need it anymore. And not the people who are far from ready. They won't recognize it even if they see it. But the people who are 96 hours away from being ready. That's the sweet spot. That's when the message can land. Think about the last time you watched or read something that really shifted your perspective. Something that seemed to arrive at exactly the right moment. If you trace it back, you'll probably find it showed up a few days before you actually needed it. Before the conversation that would make it relevant. Before the situation that would prove it true. Before the realization that would complete the circuit. It was sitting there, waiting in your awareness, until the moment when everything it said suddenly made perfect sense. This is the 96-hour window, the space between exposure and integration, the gap between hearing and understanding, the time it takes for something to move from your conscious mind into the deeper layers where actual transformation happens. And this video right now is in that window for you. You don't know it yet. You won't know it for 4 days. But 96 hours from now, something will happen. Something will click. And you'll remember watching this. And it will make sense in a way it doesn't quite make sense right now. So, what is it you're about to understand? What's coming in 96 hours that you need to be prepared for? You can't know that consciously. If you could, you wouldn't need the preparation. But your deeper awareness knows. The part of you that guided you to click on this video, that made you keep watching instead of scrolling past, that part knows exactly what's coming. And it's getting you ready. This is how transformation actually works. It doesn't happen in dramatic moments of sudden insight. It happens in slow preparation, in seeds planted days before they sprout, in information absorbed before it's needed, settling into your awareness, reorganizing your understanding, preparing you for the moment when that understanding will be required. You're being set up for breakthrough. But the breakthrough won't look like breakthrough when it happens. It will feel natural. Obvious. Like you always knew this. Because by the time it arrives, you will have known it for 96 hours. Here's what most people don't understand about timing. They think it's about being in the right place at the right moment. About luck. About coincidence. But timing is about preparation and meeting opportunity. And preparation always happens early. Always happens before you consciously know you're preparing. The information you need shows up days before you recognize you need it. The people who will matter appear before the situation where they'll matter emerges. The understanding develops before the problem that requires it arrives. 96 hours is long enough for something to integrate, without you forcing it. Long enough for your unconscious mind to do its work. Long enough for new neural pathways to form. Long enough for perspective to shift without you noticing the shift happening. But not so long that you forget. Not so long that the connection between the preparation and the moment gets lost. 96 hours is the perfect incubation period. The transformation that feels natural rather than forced. By the way, our shared space of light and awareness is on its way to 100,000 people. Thank you to everyone who subscribes and brings this moment closer. So what happens in these 96 hours? What's actually occurring while you go about your life, thinking this video was just another thing you watched? Integration. Your mind is taking what it heard and comparing it against everything else you know, testing it, seeing where it fits, finding the places where it conflicts with our old understanding and quietly resolving those conflicts, not through conscious effort, through the natural process of your awareness, reorganizing itself around new information. You'll probably forget you watch this. That's normal. That's actually part of the process. The information that needs to be remembered will be remembered. The rest will fade. And that's perfect. You don't need to hold on to everything. You just need to let what's relevant settle in. Let it find its place. And then, when the moment comes 96 hours from now, it will be there, available, ready to use. And you won't even remember where you learned it. It will just feel like something you've always known. This is also why you can't force understanding, why you can't make transformation happen on your schedule. Because transformation requires this incubation period, this time between exposure and application. This space where information becomes wisdom without you actively working on it. When you try to skip this step, when you try to immediately apply everything you learn, you bypass the integration. You end up with knowledge that sits on the surface instead of sinking deep. Information you can repeat but not embody. Understanding that exists intellectually but doesn't actually change how you operate. The 96-hour window protects you from that. It ensures that by the time you use what you've learned, it's actually yours. It's been tested against your existing framework. It's been woven into your way of seeing the world. It's not borrowed understanding anymore. It's native, organic, real. This is why the best teachers don't demand immediate application. They plant seeds and walk away. They trust the timing. They know that what needs to grow will grow, and it will happen in its own time, which is usually about 96 hours. And here's what's beautiful about this pattern. You don't have to do anything with it. You don't have to try to figure out what's coming in 4 days. You don't have to prepare. Consciously, the preparation is already happening. Just by being exposed to this information, just by letting it exist in your awareness, you're getting ready for whatever's next. The work is already done. The seed is already planted. Now it just needs time to germinate. 96 hours to be exact. But knowing this, knowing that something is coming, knowing that you're being prepared for it, that changes something right now. It creates a kind of anticipation, a readiness, an awareness that the next 4 days aren't just random time passing. They're the runway before takeoff, the countdown before launch, the final stretch before arrival. And when you know you're in a preparatory phase, you pay different attention, you notice different things, you're more open to the small shifts and subtle signs that are pointing you toward whatever's coming. So here's what you do with this awareness. You live the next 96 hours with a bit more presence, a bit more attention, not because you're trying to force something to happen, but because you know something is happening. You're being oriented toward a breakthrough that hasn't arrived yet. And the more conscious you are during this preparation period, the more complete the breakthrough will be when it comes. The pieces are arranging themselves. The stage is being set. The conditions are aligning. And you get to be aware of it instead of unconscious to it. You might notice things in the next 4 days, patterns repeating, themes emerging, the same idea showing up in different contexts, people saying things that echo what you heard in this video, situations that mirror the concepts. These aren't coincidences. These are confirmations. Reality showing you that yes, this is the preparation. Yes, you're on the right track. Yes, something is coming. Pay attention to these echoes. Not obsessively. Not desperately searching for meaning in everything. Just noticing. Just being aware. Just seeing the pattern as it unfolds. And then, 96 hours from now, something will happen. Maybe it's a conversation. Maybe it's a decision you have to make. Maybe it's a situation that requires you to see things differently than you've seen them before. Whatever it is, you'll be ready for it. Not because you consciously prepared, but because the preparation happened automatically, organically, perfectly during the time between now and then. You'll navigate it with more clarity than you would have had without this preparation. You'll see options you wouldn't have seen. You'll understand dynamics you wouldn't have understood. And it will feel natural, easy, like you always knew how to handle this. That's the magic of the 96-hour window. It makes transformation feel effortless. It makes growth feel natural. It makes breakthrough feel obvious. Because by the time the moment arrives, you've already become the person who can handle it. The 96 hours did the work of transformation without you having to force it. You just had to let it happen. You just had to trust the timing. You just had to allow the information to settle and integrate and reorganize your understanding from the inside out. This is happening all the time, by the way. Not just with this video, with everything. You're constantly being prepared for moments that haven't arrived yet. Information is constantly finding you days before you'll need it. People are constantly appearing in your life before the situation where they'll matter emerges. Reality is always working a few days ahead, setting you up for what's coming, giving you the tools and understanding and connections you'll need before you consciously know you need them. Most people miss this pattern. They're too focused on what's happening right now to notice the preparation for what's coming next. They're too caught up in immediate concerns to see the seeds being planted for future breakthroughs. They're too busy forcing things to happen on their timeline to trust the natural timing that's unfolding. And because they miss the pattern, they miss the support, they end up feeling like they're constantly scrambling, constantly unprepared, constantly caught off guard by what life throws at them. But they're not actually unprepared. The preparation happened. They just didn't recognise it. They didn't honour the 96-hour window. You're different. At least you're about to be different. Because now you know. Now you understand that when something finds you, It's finding you early. It's giving you the time you need to integrate it before you need to use it. And knowing this, you can relax. You can stop trying to figure everything out immediately. You can stop demanding that understanding arrive on your schedule. You can trust that the timing is perfect, that the information that needs to reach you will reach you, and it will reach you exactly 96 hours before you need it. Every time, without fail, if you're paying attention. So for the next 4 days, pay attention. Not with effort, not with strain, just with awareness. Notice what shows up. Notice what themes emerge. Notice what conversations happen. Notice what situations arise. They're all part of the preparation. They're all contributing to the readiness. They're all pieces of the breakthrough that's coming. And when it arrives, when the moment happens 96 hours from now, you'll look back and see how perfectly it all aligned, how every piece was placed exactly where it needed to be, how the timing was flawless, how you were ready, precisely when you needed to be ready. This is how you're designed to work. This is the natural rhythm of growth and transformation. Information early, integration automatic, application effortless. When you work with this rhythm instead of against it, everything becomes easier. Learning becomes natural, growth becomes organic, transformation becomes inevitable. You stop forcing and start allowing. You stop rushing and start trusting. You stop demanding immediate results and start honouring the process. And that's when breakthrough stops being something you chase and becomes something that finds you. 96 hours early, every single time. If this video changed something in you, write in the comments, I trust the timing. Write it as your acknowledgement that preparation is already happening. Nobody